Hello everyone, welcome to the IchimokuCharts.com daily analysis for the SP 500 for Wednesday, November the 11th. Well, another small body candle today, and the small body denotes little net gains on the day between the open and close. And in this case, the body of the candle is green, which means that the bulls have made net progress, but they've made very little net progress between the open and the close in terms of net bullish gain. The market has traded up to the 1106 area that we identified as a previous area of resistance, and we know that trading around this 1100 region, the round number was going to be an area where the market would find resistance, and we identified that the zone extended up to around that 1106 area. And the market traded up to around there, and there was good downside price rejection, and we can see from the shadow on the top of the candle that as the market traded up to that area, roughly about 1105, 1106, then the sellers came in and sold the market off. Now, the market has closed just below the midpoint level, and that's telling us that neither side has really shown any great conviction to this market. The bears certainly haven't, but the bulls haven't in the manner that we'd like to see for an assault to take out the resistance zone at 1106. The close is just below the previous close, just below the midpoint level, which tells us that the sellers had a very small amount of control of this market when the market closed. But the large shadow on the top tells us that the bulls have lost commitment, and that is a worry for this market in its attempt to trade above the resistance level. So that downside rejection is quite important for this market. Now, having said that, though, the close is above the previous close, and it is a greater distance above the previous close than the previous days. So that's telling us that the buyers, even though they lost some commitment during the day, they still have closed the market, being keen to take this market higher. Also, the market is still in a first time frame uptrend, and we can't ignore that fact that we still have a higher high and a higher low, and that is very important. There hasn't been any termination of the first time frame uptrend. There was potential for that to happen yesterday when we had the indecisive candle, the spinning top type candle, but we needed confirmation of that, and if we don't have confirmation, then there's nothing we can do about that. We would have had to have had a lower high and a lower low for confirmation of a termination of the first time frame downtrend, but we have a continuation of that. So overall, with the trend being up, that really is something that should guide our thinking here. The trend is up, but some of the short-term dynamics are telling us that the bulls aren't necessarily as strong as we'd like them to be. By the same token, there really isn't any bearish strength in this market as well. Now, just looking at the Ichimoku indicators, we are trading up above the cloud and a fair way up above the cloud as well. So the market is, in a longer time frame, is now beginning to become a little overextended as well. There are no signs, though, other than the short-term dynamics, that there may be some sort of a pullback. Looking at the Tenkan-sen and Kijun-sen, the market is trading up above both of those lines, and that tells us that the market is bullish as well. So we have some good bullish signals from the Ichimoku indicators in the short-term, medium-term, and longer-term time frames. And we also had a crossover of the Tenkan-sen above the Kijun-sen, which is a bullish signal. And that crossover occurred up above the cloud or the Kumo, and that gives us a greater probability of this being a strong signal. It actually gives us quite a good signal to be going long. We need to remember, though, that the short-term dynamics aren't really looking as bullish as we'd like. So perhaps if we see a solid close up above this 1106 area, and by solid close I mean a nice bullish close, then it may be a good signal for us to consider going long again. So that 1106 area becomes very, very important for this market. If the market does come off, then we have potential support at the 1080 level, and that was a previous area of resistance and held as previous support on a few occasions. And failing that, then the market could trade down to the Tenkan-sen and Kijun-sen, which are roughly in the same area at 1067, and that's a potential area of support for this market. If the market trades down through there, then there's support at the cloud, and all the way through the cloud. The top of the cloud coincides with the previous resistance and support area at 1041, and then we've got support all the way down through to about roughly 1025 with the cloud, so very strong support on the way down. Resistance is that 1106 level, which we'd be looking at the market to making an assault on. Now we need to keep an eye on the low of the current candle for a potential change of trend to the downside, and if the market does take out that low, then there is a possibility that we will have a lower high and a lower low in place, and we will retrace part of this first time frame uptrend that the market's in.